Hello, and welcome to the 100th edition of the THC Show. Truth, hope, and change, the things that we're looking for in this world and we talk about on this show. 100 times we've come to you and tried to help understand what's going on in our world. On the show today, we'll have 8 out of 10 Glenn from CannaMatch.ca join us for the 420 session. Jerry Martin will be here to update us on his journey to the court system with respect to his dispensary ownership and what's gone on with all of that and other things going on with Jerry. We'll have some other special guests on the show today as well, dropping by as we go. And we'll visit the Healing Wave CSP RV and get an update on what's going on with our project here and with other CSPs that are going on across Canada as well. So, on the show over the last 100 episodes, we've tried to talk about the truth about things. That's what we endeavor to do. There are some things that are very important in our lives, and there's a lot of confusion about a lot of those things. So we've tried to explore what the truth is about a lot of things. In its most basic, what the show has been about is life in general. And the two things that really life boils down to with respect to what people are doing every day, all day, is one of two basic things. Almost all the time, we are either trying to avoid pain and discomfort, or we're trying to pursue something that's pleasurable and feels good to us. And we live in a world where the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain is assisted in many cases by people around us, our families, our communities, and it's hampered in many ways by those people that, for whatever reason, think that they should be in charge of our choices and control us with respect to what we're able to do, especially with respect to, well, not even especially with respect to the avoidance of pain, because they really get their nose into your pursuit of pleasure as well. The truth is that human beings don't come assigned to any master other than the guardians, the parents that brought them here in the first place. That once you've gone through the period of growing up and becoming your own person, nobody else gets to be in charge of you unless you agree to that. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. The truth is that's not the way that it is. That's not the way it's been almost ever anywhere. That there are forces that be that force themselves upon us, and even once we rise out of the situation of being raised where we take on the ownership of ourselves, we find out that we are necessary to be subjects and servants in respect to other people that have control of us. And that would be fine if these rulers and people that are in control were benevolent and good. But inevitably, they don't have our best interests in mind. And so we've been struggling for that for a long time, and we're still struggling for that, and really struggling in lots of ways, in lots of places. And that includes here in Canada, where we've had some sort of a monarchy slash democracy for a long time, where there's a lot of lip service given to people being free here, and that we have elections where we choose our leaders. But the reality of it is that we don't have much to choose from. We've just had an election called yesterday or the day before. They called the election, and so on September 20th we're going to go and choose between nobody really. I don't like the Liberals and what they've done. Certainly the whole sham of legalization is a nasty, horrible thing that they've done to a community of people that have been struggling for their rights and for legalization for a long time. And the legalization we've been handed by the Liberals is an absolute affront to all of those efforts. It's absolute horrible for anybody that's a daily user, a medical user, or someone that doesn't have a lot of money, people that need large amounts and larger amounts as we go in a world with an epidemic of overdose deaths due to a tainted street drug supply. And lots of problems with the legal drugs like alcohol and commercial tobacco and pharmaceuticals that, we're certainly far from being able to access these things properly. And the whole cannabis legalization that we've been offered is nothing more than an attempt to take over the profits in the industry, to wipe out the pioneers of the industry, to disrupt the activism that's gone on here. And so we've talked a lot on this show about the truths of all of those things. and how the corporate greed that's involved in that, and where the role of government in a supposed free society should be to protect citizens from that corporate greed. But instead, of course, we have a system that's been accessed by the corporate world, or the financial elite of this world, and really they've taken over our democracy. Dumb because it doesn't come with proper limitations on what public servants are able to do in enacting laws supposedly to protect us. It doesn't come with accountability for those public servants when they've actually sold us out to the corporate elite. It lacks a lot of transparency, and that's why we have the corruption that we do. But the level of corruption that's been exposed in the Canadian governance with respect to the cannabis file is immense. And that's really hard to take as someone who wants to be a proud Canadian, but yet I watch our government not make me very proud, certainly on that front, and a lot of other fronts as well, with respect to the environment, with respect to a lot of rights for other individuals in other respects as well. We do not have the public servants that we should have as free people in a free country, and we've talked a lot about those truths as well. The costs and consequences of prohibition are something that we've talked quite a bit about, and that's also important because it's one of the biggest things that's going on in our world with respect to the government's effects on people and what they're doing with our money. The number one reason for police intervention in Canada here is to do with drugs. And the main one that they're after is just simple possession of people and ordinary Canadians who have a plant in their possession or plants in their garden or closet, and for some reason we've allowed ourselves to accept this situation where the government wants to use our money to protect us from these plants. And apparently the one they need to protect us the most from is cannabis. If you look at the budget and how enforcement is doled out, that they're spending most of the money on trying to protect us from cannabis. And we don't need protection from cannabis. We might need a little bit of protection from some of the pharmaceutical drugs. We probably need some fairly strict regulations and warnings with respect to alcohol and commercial tobacco, but we don't need to have any tax dollars spent to protect us from cannabis, and yet that's what they're doing. And the consequences of that are huge. It's not just the vast sums of money that are involved, that are lost and wasted, flushed down the toilet, yes, but actually handed to people that are involved in the whole mechanism of prohibition. That there's a lot of police making money and courts making money and a lot of people making money on prohibition. And that's costing all of us. That's all paid for by the average person, the Canadian young person or old person that has a bit of cannabis on them and gets caught up with the police somehow, somewhere, and now they've got to pay a fine, now they've got to go to court. A bunch of these things that put money into that system and take money out of the lives of Canadians. That's just the very tip of the iceberg. It's the stigma that's involved in that to a large extent. Excuse me. Must be time for a toke. The stigmatization of people using cannabis is a huge cost to our society. Because there's so many people that are using cannabis, and because cannabis is so valuable for people. More people would use cannabis if it wasn't stigmatized. People that use cannabis would do better in their lives if they weren't stigmatized. There's no reason for it whatsoever. It's the smart choice. I mean, it might not be the smart choice when it comes to the fact that it's illegal, because maybe using cannabis you could end up getting arrested and all the things that follow with that. So maybe in some circumstances it's not smart to use cannabis. But if it wasn't for that, cannabis would be the first choice for just about any medical situation that you have, because it mimics our endocannabinoid system. If you don't know about the endocannabinoid system, just Google that. That's the system that they discovered in the human body upon trying to figure out that cannabis was not of any medical value, so it would fit into the Schedule 1 of the United States prohibition of having no medical value. When they tried to prove that, they found out that we actually have receptors in our body, many of them throughout our body, tied right into our immune system, that are directly designed for accepting the chemistry of the cannabinoids, which is very complicated, by the way. That's not something that would be easy to do. It's a very complicated system. Our body creates these same chemicals that the cannabinoid plant grows and uses it to maintain a homeostasis amongst the other systems within the body. It's one of the most important parts of our body, and it's not just the human body, it's all of the vertebrates on the planet. So our relationship with cannabinoids goes back an extremely long way. It's why it's medicine for us. It's why it works in so many ways. The number one thing in medicine is inflammatory. Like, everything becomes inflamed, and anti-inflammatories is the number one way to deal with that. And cannabis is the number one anti-inflammatory on the planet. It's a natural plant. It doesn't have the side effects of all of the other anti-inflammatories that the pharmaceutical companies want to give you. So people need to have access to this, and the lack of access to that has caused a lot of misery for a lot of people. A lot of people have died, a lot of people have suffered, a lot of people would have had much better lives if they had had access to cannabis. So the attempt to prohibit cannabis has cost a lot of money to try to accomplish, has resulted in a whole bunch of people being harmed in great ways, both by the stigmatization and the illegalization, the criminalization of cannabis, which ruins people's lives, makes a lot of money for courts and police and stuff, but it ruins a lot of people's lives. And then the fact that people don't have access to what would be a good medicine for them. It's been a horrific crime that's gone on for a very long time. Supply and demand is a real law that is not implemented by humans, it's part of nature. And the attempt to prohibit substances, but especially cannabis, because cannabis is so valuable, it is so good, it's so much fun for people, people really like it, they use it once and they know that, well, there's no way any person should tell me I can't use this, there's no reason for that, and there's no logical reason for it, so people break that law all the time. And good people break bad laws. That's what good people are supposed to do, is break bad laws. So we've got a whole bunch of people breaking this bad law because it's good to break bad laws and because they like cannabis. And that's fueling a whole bunch of supply. Because there's a huge demand, there will be a supply. So we have a huge supply of cannabis. Well, what that's resulted in is that supply being criminalized. So there's underground criminal organizations that are moving huge amounts of cannabis. And I mean, good on them for doing that. I mean, I'm happy that we've got people doing the heavy lifting for us over all these decades of prohibition that have managed to get large amounts of cannabis to the people. But in many cases, those organizations are not nice organizations. They're not organizations that we would want to have doing that. We don't want to really support them. But there they are. They're no longer in the violence business. Now they're in the flower business. And that's all because of prohibition and supply and demand. When there's a big demand, there will be a supply. When it's criminalized, there will be underground, nasty people involved in doing that. So that's another side of the consequences and the costs of prohibition and the attempt to prohibit cannabis. So those are many of the truths that we've talked about on the show over the last 99 episodes. We've had many guests over the course of time. Originally, the show for the first year or more was every week interviewing one of the luminaries in the activist world. And there's a lot of those shows that you can find archived on Pot TV and see what those people are all about. We delved into the history of all of them as best we could. From then we moved to the store, where the Cannabis Substitution Program that I'd been running for a few years before I started doing this show managed to manipulate itself into a position where it could have a storefront. It looked like we were going to be able to do that. We had met with the city, who had passed a motion to allow us to provide low barrier access. That meeting resulted in an understanding that we would find a storefront and we would move into that. And so we did. But circumstances were that the licensing department of Vancouver City was unaware of the motion that the councillors had passed. They were in step with the Cannabis Act, and as follows, and in so doing, they threatened our landlord and told us we had to get permission from Health Canada before we could have a store and get a license from them. In fact, they told us we had to go through the province, and we tried to do that, but it turns out the province is only responsible for the non-medical side of cannabis, which is a bit strange because the provinces are in charge of the medical things to do with their citizens. So why cannabis gets separated out and only the federal government gets to be involved in that, I'm not sure. But our pursuit of legitimacy, so the city would license us, took us to Ottawa, where we applied under an emergency basis to try to stay in the store, to just get a temporary exemption from the Cannabis Act while they figured out how to give us licenses. And having said that they would try to process that in a timely manner, it was months before they got back to us. We were eventually evicted from the store. It's now been 11 months and 1 day since we put in our application, and not just for that temporary exemption, but for licenses, and not just for us and our staff, but for those people that are supplying us and that have been for all the time that we've been doing our program. We've had so many donators over the years that are all criminals by these standards that would like to have legitimacy, and they deserve legitimacy. And so we applied for that, and we've been waiting patiently ever since. Although we didn't stop the program, and we did continue to implement the low-cost element of the low barrier access that started when we opened the store, but we've been doing it from an RV that's out front. And so we chronicle this saga of the pursuit of low barrier access community cannabis stores every week on the show, and that's been going on as well. And we will be visiting outside there and see where we're at with that. There has been a little bit of communication with Health Canada, so we'll update you on some of that as well. The other thing is that it's basically about just basic freedom. It's about what's right and wrong. That's what the show's about. That's what the pursuit of our license is about. That's what the fight against prohibition is about. It's about right and wrong. It's about who owns who and who owns what. Human beings are not subjects to royalty that have different colored blood than us because they've mated with the gods. We're all just human beings here. We're not servient to people unless we agree to that. That's what's supposed to be going on. I mean, you can give up your rights for 8 hours of your day or more, and you can agree to certain payments for that, and you can have all sorts of arrangements where you agree that somebody becomes boss over you and tells you what to do and dictates how your day goes, and that's fine if you agree to all of that. But it's certainly not fine when even people, I mean, it's so bad. I mean, these are not even just the companies that want to just get free labor out of you or something like that. These are people that you're actually paying to try to protect you from being exploited like that. And yet they're the ones that have evolved themselves into a situation where on behalf of these corporations that would like to get everything for free and charge you everything they can for whatever they want to sell you, on behalf of them, they have gained the right somehow. It's not right. It's never been right. They have the might because they employ a police force with our dollars that run around and enforce the laws that they make against us. But we're really in a world where we have given up our rights. We've somehow traded in the freedom that would come with an actual free society, with people actually having the right to do or not do what they want to do or don't want to do unless they're harming somebody else, and public servants that would protect each individual's right to do that, and all of that, which would be so nice if we actually had it. But somehow we have traded that in for a world where the corporate elite get access to our public servants, who then on their behalf make rules that protect the corporate elite in their attempts to exploit us and monopolize us and manipulate us. And it's getting worse and worse. It's like we get to elect in a 4-year dictatorship where we're going to be ruled by people who don't have our best interests in mind, and we have very little ability to challenge them, and they go about wasting our money to fatten the pockets of the elite, ruining the lives of people as they go. It's 4:19. We all get a break. Thank goodness for that. Roll them if you got them. I'll see you in a minute. So we've traded that in for a world where we somehow are complacent. Well, because that's part of how the manipulation has gone, is that they distract us and overwhelm us and keep us drunk or angry or confused, entertained, all of those things, so that they can get away with taking way more of our money than they deserve and limiting our choices to what they want it to be and having us produce and consume for them. And we just continue to raise our children and tell our children just go along to get along, and maybe you won't end up in jail or having your lives ruined by this corrupt society that we're in. It's not all right. It needs to change. We all need to work for that change. If we do, we can get it. There's lots of good people working on it, and be one of them, because that's the best way to live your life anyway. But that's what we've been doing on the show for 100 episodes, is talking about all these kind of truths. We're going to continue to do that. And today's going to be a little bit of a special day because we got cake and we got some special guests coming to visit us. And as always at 420, we have Glenn Wells from CannaMatch.ca coming to visit us. 8 out of 10, Glenn. How you doing, sir?
I'm a good day, sir. How are you?
I'm good. What do we got to smoke today?
Oh, we're smoking something from Rush. Okay, so,
I get a rush just thinking about that.
So Chris Lawson, when I was in Ontario yesterday, came to Hamilton and brought us some weed. I can't remember what he called it, but apparently this is the weed that Rush, the Canadian band, used to smoke.
You wouldn't need to call it anything other than that.
Rush, yeah. You like it?
They just, by all that, they get a weed strain named after them.
Really, eh?
If that's the one they choose, well, that's Rush.
We got Landlord 2 here today.
Okay, let's bring him in.
Come on, get over here. He's waiting quietly. He said he was coming at 4:20.
Now you're taking over as producer as well, eh?
No, I think Neil would have something to say about that.
I think I'd have something to say. I thought I was the guy in charge who'd have to come on
you said
and
producer, isn't that him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's
okay,
true. Yeah.
Director then. Director. You're taking over as director. What's new in your life?
Well, I was just visiting Ontario.
I know.
Yeah, so I met Mike Powell and his wife Cindy. We went to, oh jeez, now I've lost my mind here. We went to see Mary.
You saw Mary.
Yes, Mary.
Who shipped me back some chocolate chip cookies.
I carried those all the way back from Ontario.
You're a good man.
On the plane.
I know there was another bag when you left, but...
And then we went out.
Mary told me there was 2.
Yeah, and then we went out.
There was 2, Mary.
Janet Lynn in Windsor, and yeah, we stayed in Hamilton, and went and seen William Barwell. So.
And you took Isabel with you.
And took Isabel.
And you took her to the theme park.
Oh yes, we went to Canada's Wonderland. She got to see Grandma and her cousins and her auntie. So. Yeah, it was a really good visit. It had been a couple of years since we've all seen them because of COVID, so it was very nice too.
Yeah, that's true for a lot of people. They haven't seen their friends and family
What was
for a
really
while.
choice was when I got on the airplane the first time, we had a head stewardess named Carla. So Carla seen my letter, and she gets on the microphone and she goes, "Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman on board that has a medical exemption for a letter. Do not ask him any questions. If you have any questions, please direct them to us." Right? I'm the only guy in a full plane not wearing a mask, but until now everybody knows who I am. But thank you, Carla, for doing that.
I'm glad you're safe, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was really nice, and Isabel had a great time. So.
That's good. Yeah, man, those are awesome trips.
Yeah.
And for Isabel especially, that'll be a memory she'll remember for a
long
long
time. Yeah. And she was tall enough to
Had
ride
she-
all the
had she
rides. She
flown a
didn't need a
plane?
band. Oh, yeah, she's been riding planes since she was a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's already a well-traveled lady.
Oh, she is, yeah.
Nice.
So next year when we do the trip across Canada, she would like to fly by herself.
Oh.
Right?
She's going to fly and meet us somewhere.
Yes. Well, we'll have someone in my family pick her up or something like that, right? But yeah, so she wants
Just
to
cruise into the airport in the limo there. And pick her up.
Yeah, some people say we should take an RV and save some money and just sleep in the RV. Maybe I should rent an RV.
I like bathtubs, man.
You like bathtubs?
I really
okay,
like
well,
bathtubs.
I think some limos have bathtubs, don't they?
Some RVs, you mean. Some RVs.
Hot tubs. No, a hot tub limo. I think I've seen one of those.
I don't think you want to drive a hot tub limo across Canada. Although, I mean, sure. You know,
Why not?
You can drive, I'll sit in the hot tub.
No, we got somebody driving us. You sleep, I'll sit.
Oh, it sounds like so much fun.
I know, it's going to be great.
All right, landlord, what do you got to say for yourself, sir? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm glad to be here on your 100th show. Congratulations to you.
Other than Glenn and Jerry,
Glenn.
you might be my next most frequent guest.
Yeah, I'm not on as frequent as they are, so people look at that. Mary said hi to me already. Hi, Mary. How you doing?
We got the chat on there.
Yeah, and we got to meet Venus Carter when we were there also too. So yeah,
Nice.
some nice people.
You got some cookies. You got a nice pipe, I see.
Dave,
eh?
Yeah,
Dirty Dave was
Sorry,
here.
Dave.
Dirty Dave was
Look at
here.
that, eh? Nice
And,
eagle.
he gave me this for the 100th show, and he also gave me a few other things for the 100th show here.
There you go.
And he also donated some caps. Dirty Dave was one of our prime donators. The CSP has survived because of a handful of really dedicated, amazing donators that really kept us going. And Dave is right there in that group of people. He had sandwiches that he sent every week and caps twice a week. And he's been fabulous. He's gone through some health issues and some other issues. He's back. He's feeling really good and doing well. And he came and visited me and gave me this pipe and some other things. And a big thank you to him and all those other people. too many to mention.
That kept you going.
Have kept us going.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do as much of that as probably would be good if I could.
Yeah.
There's just so many people that have helped with the Cannabis Substitution Program, and some of these people, and there's really so many people that have been real integral parts as well. There's a lot. But anyway, thanks so much to Dave for that, and we're going to try this.
Yeah, try it out.
Because he also sent me some nice bubble hash.
Yeah.
Well, 100 shows, and you got a cake and everything.
Yeah, I brought a 2,000 milligram chocolate cake.
Well, that's why I did it. They told me if I did 100 shows, there'd be cake. And being the sugar addict that I am.
Somebody didn't lie to you, right?
I've enjoyed your shows over the year, and
2 years.
Your outreach, even before then when I met you. I mean, I've known you for a while, but then your Vandu outreach and your edibles, everything that people donate to you in the community and help you out to help people in the community. It's been a big 10 plus in my books,
It's been a really, really good run. We're not there yet. We got to win this thing, damn it. We got to get out of the RV, get some legitimacy, get our license, get back into the storefront that people deserve a storefront.
Yeah.
It's not about us deserving a storefront.
You're helping a
The
lot
people
more
in this neighborhood deserve several storefronts that they can easily walk into and access cannabinoids in ways that make sense for them.
Oh,
So,
that's a nice.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's going to kick my butt.
Cindy says she's enjoying some drinks, sending some drinks
She's
from
coming?
the Coca Cafe.
Yeah, Dana's coming, I believe.
Yeah, she says enjoy the drinks from the Coca Cafe, so I said thank you
Nice.
very much. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Cindy.
I got to take part yesterday in a podcast that was really awesome with Dana Larson, the lawyer Rob Lurie, and Jack Lloyd as well.
Oh, nice.
And it was really awesome as we rolled around, what's going on, what the future might hold, how we might get things done. And you can check that out. I've posted it on my Facebook.
Okay.
I put it into the Cannabis Substitution Project page as well on Facebook.
I'll have to check it
And,
out.
yeah, check that out because I thought there was a fair amount of really good information that came from, two different sides of things.
Yeah.
Dana and I, we've been on the kind of break the law to get it fixed side of
Yeah.
it for a while. And then Jack and Rob are on the side of, well, these guys
Let's use the law to make it
let's
right.
use what they've done
Yeah.
to help change the law.
Yeah.
And so there's a role to play still for all sides of this as well.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really interesting conversation. So check that out as well.
Yeah.
The young lady that was the presenter is here in studio. I don't know if she wants to come on and say hi or anything. Want to come and say hi?
Here, we can move over.
Squeeze over.
Yeah, squeeze on over. Want to grab
over.
a chair, maybe?
Have a chair. My congratulations. I'm going to go sit over here
All right.
and get this cake pretty soon. It looks yummy. And all the best for another 10, 20, 100 shows. Yeah. And I think we have a marijuana event coming up again in September, right?
Yeah, September 6th. We'll be back
September 6th.
at Sunset Beach for that.
Come on down, and we'll have a good time again. But here, you can sit over here if you like, next to Glenn. I don't think you bite.
No, not unless you ask.
Probably
Shake
would,
your
in that
hand,
case.
buddy.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, landlord. It's been a
Good
pleasure.
man.
Thanks
I
for
don't
being
care
on
what
here,
Glenn
man.
said about you.
Yeah.
These guys.
All right, so come on, Casey.
This is the tea.
Oh, very good. Well, we'll talk to Jerry. Hi, Casey.
Hey,
How are you?
pretty good.
That's good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Would you like to try some of the rush weed?
I gave her a joint.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yes. Can't smoke at 420, but
She might already be
pulled up
Russian.
this little joint, so I just gave her a big
Usually
one.
I'm Swedish, but today I'm Russian.
No, you're Russian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm
me
Russian.
too. Canadian Russian.
So this one was mine. That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
That's yours.
Yeah, that's
We
mine.
got it all straightened out now.
Yeah, we got it
So,
all straightened
Casey,
out.
tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm not someone who spent a long time doing something.
You're
but
too young to spend a long time
Yeah,
doing anything.
I'm not an expert in anything at all, but I've been feeling passionate lately about just the imbalance of things, and how many people, no matter where they come from, they could be rich, they could be poor, they could be anyone, and like the hardships that we all face because of this imbalance. And I think there's ways to, become back in balance. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right?
And I think that comes from community and getting things done and talking about what you believe in and listening to other people as well and not being afraid of it.
Right. So you're motivated to be part of the change.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get that motivated?
I grew up near the woods, and I've always kind of had an affinity for the land, but then it kind of got clouded at one point, and then I got confused and went through some traumatic, not super traumatic, but for myself, traumatic things, and got a little bit blindsided about it. I forgot about it. And then I just recently kind of remembered how important nature is and how it's being really attacked right now, and we kind of have to help get that back in balance so that we will survive.
Nice. And so you've started doing podcasts, and that you were the presenter of this panel yesterday that I was part of. That was so awesome. How can people find that?
It's on YouTube. That was called The War on Drugs, that one, and it's under the Consciousness Continuum YouTube channel.
I see. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for that. That was an awesome experience, and putting us guys together is great. Anytime that we get together and get to share ideas, that's a really good thing. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing what you do.
Cool, and I look forward to whatever else you're going to do in the future. And we need lots of people to do lots of things, and I'm really glad that you've found this that you want to do and that you're doing it. So.
We can't educate the masses without sharing, right?
That's how it works.
That's it.
How it works. We all just need to talk to each other
Yeah.
and communicate. So.
It's so true, isn't it? Because if it's not spoken about, what basis do you have to know? How can you know about something if you don't know about it?
That's right. If nobody's telling you.
Even when the government has fed us such crap about this plant, and now we're out here trying to show people that this is what it really is.
We're trying to turn around 100 plus years of lies and misinformation for sure, and there's still so much of that that's out there and
It's
going
nice
on.
to have more support working out there, and the younger generation too. As you said, you're just beginning to do this, right?
It's not been a long time.
So great on you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I see
100th show.
100th show. I don't know how that even happened.
Neither do I.
I must have been smoking weed or something, I think what it is my mantra is have as much fun as you can in whatever you do. I think that's the most important thing in life is that whatever you're going to do, life is too short to not enjoy yourself. I think you need to try to have fun. And time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
So I guess that's
we
what's
were having
happening.
a lot of fun.
And we've had a lot of fun over the last 100 episodes, and it just flew by. So
yeah.
And then there's going to be cake. Are you sticking around for cake?
I think so.
Okay. If not, you can cut yourself a piece right now. I'm not sure when we're going to do that. It's infused.
Yeah. Are you going to cut? I think you should do the first cut.
Oh, okay. Well, she's hanging around for a bit anyway, so that's great.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that before too long, before the end of the show.
Sure.
Jerry Martin is here as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to slide Jerry in.
We'll get out of here. Let's slide Jerry in.
How you doing, Jerry?
Good, Neil.
Pretty good. Chugging right along. We're within 4 weeks now.
Yeah, I think it's about 4 weeks. No, dude, this is
I mean that's just
less than 4 weeks.
Less than 4 weeks, but that's just the day when the final arguments are put forward.
Yeah.
And there'll be no decision that day, and you don't know when it'll be after that. Anymore.
No.
So,
But it'll be shortly after that.
you think it'll be shortly?
Well, it's got to be sometime.
Well, sometime.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things take a while. Though.
Yeah. 6 months.
6 months or longer. Yeah.
Especially with
Which
COVID.
would be too bad.
Yeah. Well, it's more stress, waiting and not knowing.
That's the whole thing is the stress. It's been how long now?
5 years almost. Yeah, 5 years in November.
5 years coming up in November since you were first arrested.
Right.
And how long had you been open since they first sent you? Now,
4
Jerry
years.
owned a dispensary in Whitewood, Saskatchewan, by the way. He had it for 4.5 years, and then got a letter from Health Canada because of legalization telling him to shut down. And so how long before you were arrested did you get that letter?
It was before I got a letter I got in 2015. I'm not sure when it was in 2015. But I got sometime in 15.
So it was several months.
I think it was about a year later.
That they actually arrested you. So
Yeah.
that was a stressful year too then.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
And then it actually happened that one day, and you're in handcuffs. They're stealing all your stuff and seizing your stuff. You didn't even imagine then that it was going to be almost 5 years before some decision.
I didn't think they were going to do what they did.
Of course, you didn't think you were going to do what they did, but and do it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been really tough for you. I've watched this over the last number of years. It'd be so tough for anybody. I can't imagine how I would feel going through what you went through. Are you optimistic? Do you think you're going to get a good decision, or are you going to wait till final arguments and see how you feel?
Honestly, I'm putting absolutely zero thought into it lately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That might be best.
Yeah.
frankly best.
Yeah.
Although I believe in creative visualization.
Yeah.
That I think you should see yourself going, yes,
Yeah.
finally.
I mean,
you know.
visualizing other things.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, controlled visualization I think is a way to have the universe get you into the flow
Sure,
that will
yeah.
get you to where that is.
Yeah.
So
So I do most of my stuff is manifestation, right?
yeah, that's how we all do
I was
all our
thinking about
stuff.
it on the
believe it or
drive
not.
over. Just think of what I could do if I actually put all my energy into positive shit.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I'm
know.
still fighting the.
And
Dark
just
side.
on what you said there, though, that you do a lot by visualization. We all do everything by visualization.
Well, yeah.
There's
it's-
nothing we
it's-
don't do that we don't visualize
Exactly.
ahead of time
That's
first.
correct. Yeah.
And it's a lot
People
about how
don't
we
understand
visualize
that,
it as to
yeah.
how we get it.
Yeah.
I used to take my crew when I was running construction. We were working by Lynn Valley, and I would take my crew at lunchtime, 4 or 5 guys, and we'd run the rocks down the river. You know, jump from rock to rock to rock. Because I was talking to them at the time, because I was reading books on this very subject of creative visualization, about how you're going to visualize yourself jumping to that rock before you do it. Become aware of that and create that visualization. Make sure
Right.
you see yourself jumping properly.
Sure, same thing that athletes
And
do.
same thing that
yeah,
athletes do
yeah,
as well.
you know, they pre-see the win and the move and the.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm reading this. The 4 agreements or first agreement. It's really good.
What's the first agreement?
Well, I just got into it, but it really teaches a whole lot about on how to use your words for positivity, not negativity towards yourself
So much
and
about
others.
words.
Yeah, words are super important, and I'm
Super
really bad with them.
powerful.
Data's super smart with
how
them.
you spell things.
Yeah.
You know, how you
It was not just how you spell
spell.
them; it's how you use them.
I said spell because
yeah,
of the term spell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. That's what they said. It's
That's
black
exactly
magic,
it.
man.
It is, absolutely.
It's, you know, they put that
hypnosis
spell,
and
then once that
suggestibility.
person's accepted that insult or that, you've made that agreement, and agreements are super hard to
Oh,
break.
man. And then your own self-talk around those issues.
Yeah, and not only that,
all
it's
that
you know
stuff.
how we grew up and what
We're all very
been
suggestible.
programmed. So to try and change that, it's very very difficult.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
Well, and it's two things there as well. You have the nurture and the nature going on because you're born with a whole bunch of predisposed ideas about how you're gonna be, you know, who you are.
Well, that's
your
it. And then they
preferences.
give you their ideas,
then
and so
nature
you're
does that.
never comfortable with that role,
Or nurture of it.
and so you never feel like you.
Well, everybody's
you
trying
know.
to find out who they are.
Well, that's it. But
It's,
they've
it's
been
an
programmed by
immediate and
someone else
constant
already.
value. What do you
Yeah.
prefer, and what
Yeah.
don't you prefer?
And
You know, what are
society
your likes-
says if you don't do this, your
That's
religion
right.
says you don't do that, so then you feel guilty,
That's
and,
right.
and you got to live with that.
Well, your parents and society
Yeah,
are saying
you're
you
breaking
need
your
to prefer
values,
this
right?
and you need
Yeah.
to prefer that,
Yeah.
and it goes against what's natural sometimes, or what's even right.
Yeah, whether it's
sometimes.
right or wrong doesn't make a difference because you've already made that agreement in the past, and it's so strong a bond that.
These things are hard to change, but they're necessary to address, and
Yeah.
they can be changed.
Well, they need to be changed now, even by the people that can't change them for themselves. They need to tell other people about the ability to change now, so they don't have to grow up that way.
Yeah. There's a part of your brain down in the lower level, like a much earlier part of the evolved brain that we have, the amygdala. And the amygdala is triggered whenever there's a perceived threat. And it's instant. It's like way less than like a hundredth of a second. Where boom. and when you have that, it's a fight, flight, or freeze response. That you're either frozen because you don't want this predator to see you, or you run and escape as quick as you can, or you turn and
attack.
give everything you got and you attack. Within a few seconds to a few minutes of that happening, your amygdala has kicked in your sympathetic nervous system, which then controls a whole bunch of other things, all not being controlled by your cerebral cortex.
Right.
And so that's why people go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
And they spend a few minutes or whatever of just acting in a way that afterwards they're like, oh man, I can't believe I said that or did that, because you're not even really in control of it. It's all about chemicals.
Right.
It's all about chemicals that are released and created because of these
For sure, and your
responses by these things.
predisposition to what you've learned. Right?
So you can deal with that. That's
Yeah.
the good news.
Yeah.
Is that yes, you get hijacked in that moment when you perceive a threat, and the threat that we're perceiving now is no longer the tiger in the savannah. It's not some wild animal that we think is going to be there.
It's the Trudeau
It's
cartel.
your relationship problems. It's your economic problems. It's your workplace. All of those sorts of things. And none of them really requires that response that it's given automatically because of our evolution and our nature. And so what do you do about it? Well, you change your self-talk. You learn to become aware of when these things are being triggered. You learn to diffuse your triggers. You use music, meditation, all of those types of things. and drugs.
Yeah.
Smoke a joint and those types of things as well. But we're creatures that are, trying hard to navigate a very complicated plane of existence here. With the tools that we're given, each of us a different set, and with what we encounter and what we're taught and all the rest of that. And it's all messed up mostly because of corporate greed, or the greed of people. Either right from the start of people who are greedy emotionally, and they're, as vampires, going to make you feel bad so they can feel good.
I think it's more power when it gets to that
It's
stage
a lot of
than
power,
greed.
yeah, exactly.
I think it's power.
That's the
more
first
than
one.
greed.
The power between parents and child.
They feel, above.
So many times
wanna
it's
give that up.
parents that were never suited to have children. They're the first children they're having, and it's the first time they get to find out how they're going to deal with children. And the way they deal with children is a lot of times the way they were dealt with. And so if they were bullied or felt bullied, or if they, all these things that happen to people, it keeps going generation after generation. But thankfully we can stop all this stuff, and we can try to work on all this stuff. And, a little puff on the sacred herb is a good way to do it. A little bit of contemplation about who owns who, what rules are there for what reasons, and all these things is part of our navigating this thing. And you're right in the forefront of this because you decided to give back after a troubled life. Is it fair to say?
I would say.
Yeah. So, and one of the ways that you ended up doing that was by opening this dispensary. And I know what you found out is that it really feels good to help people.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an amazing way to live your life. And so this world is so upside down and backwards that you spend 4 years developing 1,000-member clientele of a medical cannabis dispensary where you're helping people in profound ways, and the government isn't going to let you do it.
Yeah.
And they're telling you you're a criminal. And then they're going to come right in and treat you like a criminal and seize your belongings, threaten you with jail time, all the rest of this. I mean, I don't know how I would handle that, Jerry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody just kind of has to deal with it at the time, though.
Not many people have dealt with it like you have, or have had to deal with it the way you have.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of dispensaries get raided and charges laid and things like that. I've gone to court with Don Briere and Carol Gwilt and many other people that have had to go through the court system on all this. I don't think I can recall a case of anybody who's had to endure what you've had to endure over the last 4.5, or now, when you look back, it's actually 5.5 years, 5 years, because there was a year leading up to that where they were warning you with letters.
Right, yeah. Sure.
And the emotional roller coaster that would result in, man, you're a strong guy, And I know you've had your moments, but you're here, sitting here right now. You're here almost every week, sitting here, telling us about it. And yeah,
there's some coca leaf teas in there.
Oh yeah, tell us about
before
this.
they get too warm. Everybody should grab one. There's some Coca Leaf Cafe.
Oh, that's what these are.
City
Oh, so is Dana coming down? Do you know?
No, I don't know where Dana was.
Cindy
I was
was
just
gone.
by there. Cindy was going to come, but it's so busy in there.
Oh, I
She
see.
couldn't get out. So
Okay.
I
Well,
bought
maybe
the
Dana will
drinks.
come.
I got one here.
I just gave him an invitation to it. Let's. Glenn, do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. You want me to go on? Hand
There's
them
some
out
straws over there, I think.
And Neil, did you want one of these?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
From Dana. This is like. Cocoa.
Oh yeah, the Coca Cafe. I have
Cocoa
not
leaf
been back there
tea.
recently. I was there for the opening of it. It was very nice. I would take those out individually. They're stacked.
Yeah, there might be 2 trays there. Yeah, I would take them out.
Okay, so you take that and Glenn can.
And I'll take some out to the.
Yeah, you take them out there. And then we'll have a quick look at this, and then we're going to get into some cake.
Casey will have one there.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll give those away. I don't know, the 100 something maybe. Is there 100 on there?
I don't know. We didn't design anything like that.
Yeah, I just thought I'd give you something, bring something to give away for the
They're
show.
Coca.
Beautiful.
This episode, so
So there's 4
you
cold
can give
and
them
4
out
hot.
every give them away.
Well, before I do that, we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you haven't just been hanging around depressed about the whole situation with your dispensary and the rest of it. You've been moving forward in trying to help people, and in your new pursuit, it's to do with freedom of thought.
Right.
And the access to these types of substances for people that are struggling with depression, addiction, anxiety, pain, all those types of things, PTSD in particular, this is... Tell me.
Yeah, these are microdelics products. So microdelics we use legal analogs. We don't have an analog act in Canada, so we can sell these legally for research purposes, and then people do their own research at home.
Right. And then you're going to try to collect some of that data yourself at some point?
Yeah, I do have quite a bit of data for myself. But with MindTech, the new company, we're going to collect data through that for sure.
Right.
And then we'll do these types of kits with real, you know what I mean, with LSD, I shouldn't say real, it's still LSD, but without an analog. So, LSD 25 or a mescaline analog or a psilocin, an actual psilocin or psilocybin, microdosing kit in the future once we win the freedom of thought case. We're going to be doing studies, therapy, things like that. I'm just in the middle of doing the investor deck now. It's quite complicated. It's coming along good.
I talked to Jack Wood a little bit yesterday, and he was talking about how excited he is to be able to litigate this particular idea of freedom of thought and what justification there would be in governments prohibiting access to these natural plants and medicines, especially in light of just how much evidence there is that it's not harmful, it's certainly not on the scale of many of the other things that are available legally in our environment, and B, that they're really helpful for people that are suffering.
There are a few issues like MDMA. I think there's a bit of hard issues with 5-HT2B, and there are a few things. That's one of the things.
So when you say that, you just mean that there are.
Well, there are risks.
There are potential for abuse.
There's risks with everything.
Of course.
You just got to use them properly and smartly. And we're going to address some of those problems with MindTech as well. So our main focus is looking at addressing some of the side effects as well as working with different ailments and different diseases.
It says use extreme caution for research purposes only.
This is microdelic, so this is different from MindTech. So
there's warnings: do not drive or operate machinery.
Actually, we only say that for when exceeding the maximum dose.
Only when exceeding the
It should
recommended
enhance
maximum
your...
dose. Right, of course. Keep out of the reach of children and pets. Keep out of sunlight and heat. For more information, here's a website, and I'm sure you have lots of information on there. May help with depression, cerebral blood flow, smoking cessation, anxiety, eating disorders. May also enhance flow state, libido, creativity, compassion, empathy, social interactions, confidence, and self-esteem.
Yeah, sex is one of the other things I'd like to address with MindTech too.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure, man. Nobody's really hitting that yet. I know Mind Meds, they're doing candy flipping with the MDMA, LSD, but I don't think they're really doing it for that particular purpose. So I personally find it works awesome. So
if there's problems, if there's potential problems with things, then you put warnings on.
Yeah, or
use with caution.
Well, address, not
use
indoor.
with caution, adults only.
Yeah. So once you find a problem, you can address the problem and make it safer.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the role of regulations, is to just educate the consumer at the point of sale.
Yeah. But the safety
and that's
the
that
harms.
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world where there's gasoline for sale, pesticides, white sugar, and numerous other very dangerous and toxic things, and people can buy that stuff.
Yeah.
You just got to read the warnings. Sometimes you have to take a little orientation course on some things if you're wanting to use explosives and stuff. But people can do these things.
Yeah.
For the government to just outright prohibit, ban, criminalize anything to do with it, it's just outrageous. And
most of the stuff that is banned it has a medical purpose and is helpful. And I think it's one of the reasons they are banned is because the pharmaceutical company has competition that way.
It's not the role of government. It's nobody's right to ban something completely from everybody always under every circumstance. It's not their right to do that. Because like you say, everything could have medical applications or some applications of usefulness or at least some applications of not harming anybody. So, I'm an adult. Who the hell is this other adult or are these other groups of adults?
Well, that's it. Once they do it, they're going to do it regardless. So now you're sending them out into an unsafe environment.
Well, exactly.
To buy something unsafe.
Exactly.
Or not necessarily
the real
unsafe, but chances are it's got something in it. It gets cut down along the way, especially when you're dealing with hard drugs.
The real consequence of prohibition is that it's going to increase the improper use of that thing which you're going to try to decrease the improper use of. If it's really about decreasing harms to do with misuse of drugs, well, prohibiting them is going to increase the attractiveness of that drug. It's going to guarantee it's not used properly.
Unfortunately, with legalization now, they're just keeping that shit all in place.
Like you can go buy meth real easy out here,
If
right?
they don't allow the average person to be involved in the new industry, this is the worst part about legalization for me. Is the poor person has always used weed or some sort of drug to make their side bucks, man, and get by. If they take that away,
well,
you know,
it's always been illegal for as long as we've been alive,
right?
And it's still illegal.
Well, no, it hasn't.
As long as you and I've been alive.
Oh, so us, for sure.
As long as we've been alive, as long as I've been alive.
The year I was born, they put in the Psychedelics Act, I think.
And with cannabis, it's been illegal for since 1923 in Canada. So yeah, all you need is a warning, and that's basically it for just about
warning and
everything else.
education.
And so it's such a huge violation of our rights with respect to access to things, and yet we kind of go along with it. What do you got? Just some weed.
Some oil.
I may be wearing the jacket, but I'm a bit of a lightweight.
Yeah.
As anyone who knows me knows, I'm a little bit of a lightweight. I don't get into the concentrates, and I think there's concentrates on that. And I did just smoke some hash, and I do like hash, but I don't smoke hash for that.
Oh yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, I'm getting that worked over here. So.
Okay. Well, all right. So you can get a hold of Jerry and find out about this stuff here and be part of the experiment and find out and get part of the research program. Find out if it works for you, especially if you got some problems. I could go on and on about how crazy and ludicrous the whole thing is and how wrong it is and how long and all that,
Yeah, you can pick these up down at the Coca Leaf Cafe as well. So.
Nice.
Great place. I've been there lots of times.
That's a great place to go, right on the forefront of things. Okay, so you've got your final arguments coming up. Is that the 15th and 16th?
Yeah.
You know, on the 16th of September is the day 1 year ago exactly that John Conroy, on behalf of the CSP and the Healing Wave, put in our application to Health Canada. 1 year to the day, like exactly on that day. I thought that's kind of strange. That's why that day kept sounding familiar when I was putting it out there.
4 days before the election.
4 days before the election.
Yes.
Yeah. So, who knows? I don't think it'll be much different of a climate after the election than before the election. But who knows? So 4 days after the election, or before the election, final arguments will be heard in this extremely important case that's going on with you. Whether or not people should have access to medical cannabis through storefront. That's essentially what this case is about. What you've done is it's a constitutional challenge that you with your other co-applicants have put forward. It's not the trial of whether or not you're guilty of the charges.
Right.
This is a constitutional challenge. This is surrounding, like I say, whether or not people have access through a storefront to medical cannabis. Because as it sits right now, they have access through online distribution through licensed producers, which means that people that don't have access to online, don't have bank accounts, don't have ID, don't have the money.
I wish he'd add a few other things in there, that I look back, like, even if they do get fixed, we still can't see the shit or smell it or fucking, you know what I mean, before you buy it. And I think that's...
You think that should have been part of it?
Yeah, I think it's important with medical cannabis, but you can only fit so much.
Has that been addressed at all within the...
I think we brought it up.
Sean?
We did bring it up.
Is it in
I know we brought it up in the affidavits.
Is it in that decision from Queen's Bench in Alberta with Sean Howell?
It might be.
Because there was a lot of things covered in that decision with respect to how people deserve to be able to access cannabis.
And isn't it said that when you smell cannabis and if your nose really likes it, you go, wow, that smells really good. That's supposedly, apparently, the terpenes telling your body that you need this type, right? So if you can't smell it, you don't know if it's going to be good for you.
So I walked into a licensed a licensed store in White Rock, and they did have those smelly containers.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, they
Oh,
under
that's
smelling
good.
containers?
Yeah, you could see the bud in there. You could
Well, yeah, but was
push
that
the little button and it would give you a little puff of the
Oh,
air
the
inside.
air that was in the container.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
Well, that's nice.
Well, they're getting smarter.
that's nice. That's nice, and that's all fine. And the cannabis store can look like it's a high-end jewelry store
Yeah.
if they want, and people can grow
I'm
really
sorry, I'm a
fantastic.
marketer, so I just can't say shit about this part.
Well, that's fine. You know, I'll say it. It needs to be said that you know, it's okay that there are high-end stores for cannabis and that
Yeah.
there's high-end cannabis for sale. There is high-end cannabis. There are people that grow amazing cannabis, and it costs them lots of money for lots of reasons that they put into it. Not to mention it, the least of which would be their expertise over decades of learning how to grow fabulous cannabis. Those people are always going to be okay. There's always going to be stores that will be served. The public will go to those stores and buy that cannabis if it's really good cannabis, even if it's $10 a gram, which is a crazy amount of money for just a gram of a piece of plant material.
You know,
But that will
$10
happen.
a gram when I was
But
like 15,
the other
yeah.
side of it, they can't at the same time deny ordinary poor people from having access to cannabis that could be grown easily and cheaply and brought to market inexpensively.
Yeah, bulk weed barn.
Like the government restricting access to that is absolutely criminal, and it's killing people.
Well,
It's
restricting
causing a
that
lot of
30
suffering.
grams is also keeping the black market alive.
It is.
Alright?
It is.
You know what I mean?
You want to put the black market out of
You gotta go
business? Better, cheaper weed.
Yeah.
That's the way you do that.
Buy what you want.
Walk into a store where a
Smoke a lot
proprietor
of
is going to
weed,
stand
man. I'm gonna go
behind
to
his
the store
product.
every day.
Yeah, I mean that.
And I feel sorry for the retailers because they can only sell 30 grams, so their maximum they're making.
I have not
And they
yet.
can't
I've yet
talk
to
about
meet a
it.
happy
Yeah,
retailer in the
totally,
government
yeah.
program. There's no happy retailers in the government program.
Yeah.
No.
You know, I know several of them,
Yeah.
and they got all kinds of complaints about
Yeah.
what's going on with how they
Yeah.
have to run their stores.
They're
and shit.
being limited. They're not allowed to
Absolutely.
be successful.
As I said before, we need an ombudsman
Yeah.
really to handle these kind of stuff because the government is not listening to us. You call Health Canada, complain
Will an,
about your
will an
ACMR not being
ombudsman
around.
compel them to license
And
low
sometimes
barrier
that's-
access?
I've
Because
seen ombudsmen
Well,
make a
that's until
difference.
he gets his new yacht from Trudeau.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, we need somebody to
something
protect us.
somehow has to be able to combat the huge amounts of money and leverage that is
retires.
being wielded by these corporate elite that want to monopolize the cannabis sales and maintain artificially high prices. Something has to be able to be defeat that. We got our application in. It's just being ignored. I'm unhappy because it's been 11 months. It's been 23 or 28 months that Don Briere has been paying rent on a couple of different stores, waiting
Yeah.
since his application went
Wow.
in. You know, it's just
Yeah, I
insane.
know it's super expensive for them.
Super expensive for all these
Yeah.
people. Not much money coming in.
Yeah.
Not much satisfaction in
Yeah.
how you're able to sell cannabis.
Yeah. I'm
So-
sure they get a lot of complaints too. Not from the service, but from the product.
From the
right?
product itself,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, things have to change.
Yeah.
We're not done the fight yet.
No.
And low barrier access is the new mantra. You know, just stores with low barrier access for people that want to buy inexpensive cannabis, but still great cannabis, right? It's still great cannabis. It might not be quite as well manicured. It might not be quite as well grown, but great cannabis can still be produced and available, and extracts can be made and made available reasonably.
And everybody should be able to, smokers sell their 4 plants.
Absolutely.
Man. They're your fucking 4 plants.
Low barrier access, not just for consumers, but for people who would like to be part of the market.
Oh, yeah.
Like our suppliers need to have low barrier access into the
I believe it's
marketplace.
California. You can grow 99 plants and you can keep them or sell them, man.
I don't know enough about what the ins and outs of these rules are.
from the coach of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders when I was at the airport. When I met him. That's what he
Yeah, so and is that a medical license or is that just anybody?
No, anybody can just get a license.
And grow
Oh,
99
maybe it
plants?
was a medical license. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Everybody's used. I don't know. Whatever it was, he said it was. He didn't smoke weed, but it was done wonders for the communities. It took people right out of poverty. Right?
Yeah, it's a
It's their
fantastic
product.
economic
They
driver.
decide to smoke it or sell it to a friend or to a store or whatever. That's
It's already still a huge economic driver. The underground
Yeah.
market's driving lots.
Yeah.
The legal market is also, the
Yeah.
prohibition regime are also, spending lots of money. Anyway, let's have some cake.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
Let's do cake.
Some cake.
I guess you'll turn on the camera. Or should
I can do cake and cookies thanks to Mary. Actually, I'm probably just going to do cookies because I'm going to have just a little bit of that cake because, yeah, I don't actually eat infused foods.
You got a candle?
Candle? We'd have to have like 100 candles.
Yeah. No, you got to get 100 candles.
We got 100 on there.
Oh, did you?
But not the candle. Just the 100.
But you know what he's saying, there's candles that say 100 on them.
No, see,
Oh, nice.
the 100, yes.
And although I look at it's not me that's 100, it's just the show, and it's not yours, it's only episodes.
Jason wants me to email him some cake. So this is made from Mission, BC. A lady who owns a little food place called Riders Bites, and she made this up for us.
Check this out. I gotta say, you know, I'm thrilled about all this. Maybe I should raise the camera a little bit, or maybe I should still sit down. I'm not sure which. But I'm really thankful to all the people that have contributed to this show. For sure, it's been such a great effort. All the friends and activists and people that came on the show early to be interviewed. All the people that have helped with the Cannabis Substitution Program, Cannabis Culture, Pot TV, Neil, Glenn, Jerry. I mean, it's been a hell of a great 2 years.
Yeah.
With you guys, eh? It's been fun.
Let's do another 3.
So yeah, everybody else, all you people who watch this show, we're just trying to make the world a better place by telling the truth about what's going on and finding ways that we can change things that give us a little bit of hope. So therefore we have the Truth, Hope, and Change show. And I'm going to cut this cake. I don't know about these 24 pieces. I think there should be more.
20 pieces will make it 100 milligrams each piece.
Well, you should start the first
I
cut,
think-
and then you should go outside and see the van and figure out the cake afterwards. that is my suggestion.
How are these
But-
things here?
Those are just chocolate.
I know. One of them's in my way.
Oh, it's in your way. All
I
right.
put it right there. There we go. Because I think that if people want to get like 100 milligrams, they could have more than one piece.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Options are good.
Options are good. Yes.
I got to drive.
Yeah.
Me too.
I want to have it.
Or maybe a little more if there's traffic.
I want to have some of this. I just don't want to have 100 milligrams.
Oh yeah, we made it chocolate because you told somebody that your chocolate was one of your favorites.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm imposing my favorite on everybody else.
Oh, that's right. It's your show. We're
That's
just your
right.
guests.
That's right. In any other circumstance, I would not impose my own choice of cake on
It
anybody.
doesn't matter.
It's funny though, you know, because I have what I like. I like a lot of things. I'm a bit of a sugar addict. I like sweet things. But my tastes aren't everybody's tastes, and certainly everybody's tastes aren't my tastes.
And,
But I think that my taste should be everybody's taste.
well, that's what everybody thinks
think-
about their taste.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause it tastes good to
But then it would
me.
be a very boring world,
Maybe. Yeah,
right?
probably.
If we all did the same thing all the time, like the same stuff all the time. Just like these cocoa-teas are really good.
Have you ever really thought about how many tastes there are in the world? Like how many amazing
I
foods
wonder
there are?
if Google could answer that.
Well,
How
I don't
many
know.
different tastes are in the
But
world?
I mean, even just within my little repertoire of things that are available that I like and I'll put together and eat and stuff, there's a lot of really good foods. A lot of good fruits.
Who made that cake?
A friend of mine in Mission, British Columbia. Her name is Nicole. She owns a service where you call up. She's got meals, and you just pay $15, and you'll have a whole dinner done for you. Just
Really?
pick it up, yeah. At her
Oh, you got
house.
to pick it up.
Yeah. She lives in Mission, so it's called Riders Bites, and she has really, really good meals, really good sizes and stuff like that. So, and she has an industrial kitchen, and she makes edibles.
Oh,
Yeah. So.
All right.
All right.
I'm cutting through here now. Casey's starting to drool over there.
Ginger says, just do it like a 3-year-old and dig your hands in there, Neil.
I've been getting lots of practice cutting up watermelons lately. That's an art in itself. I went online. How do you cut a watermelon? There's lots of different ways.
Isabel
Be
made
surprised.
jello in the watermelon with her mom.
Oh, nice.
So they took out all the watermelon, and you can actually, when it's hard, you can still cut the watermelon and eat it like watermelon, but it's jello, right? That's really good. It stayed on there.
All right, so.
All right. Thank you, Cindy, for the drinks, and Dana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, I see. They glued it together over here. It's like a skill testing question.
There's this little tape there.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, well, it had to come all the way from Mission.
Yeah, no. Probably better that it didn't fall apart on the way in. I'm just
Yeah.
going to take this one, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm just going to take this one. And then we can get right in there. So,
Alright, so now we need a
1,
stop
2,
sign.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 5 is 45. So
Yeah,
there.
so
A
about 50,
medium-sized
about
one of these
50.
is about
I'd
50.
say that one's 100 milligrams.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The ends are 100.
This one end, only the one
Alright.
end. I left one kind of big end there.
Alright.
So, who's first? Casey. got
Casey,
you.
let's do the lady first, yes.
Do you want a big piece or a little piece?
It's a really small one.
A really small one.
Like your size. And we're going to need some forks.
Woohoo! Yes, well, I have that going on. I just didn't get a chance to go
We
get
have
that.
plastic forks that we can all use.
Yeah, do we have some back there, Sal? Do you
maybe
know?
Sal can help
Plastic forks? Or, because I have some in my car, and we have some in the RV.
Okay.
I'll just...
Do you want me to run out the RV then? If we
Well, don't we have to go out to the
You
RV?
do have to go
We
to
do.
the RV.
We have to bring
That's
the
your
cake.
plate. You don't have to take it if you want. Let's go. Oh, go ahead.
towels?
Take it if you want. Yeah, we should do paper towels. We have
Yeah,
that
that
as well. So what size piece would you like?
Not too big. Got a giraffe.
I'll give him the end.
I gotta bring Cindy a piece.
Oh. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. Because it's good cake.
There we go.
It looks really yummy.
Piece for Cindy.
Yeah.
Glenn, you want the,
Sure.
want the big corner piece?
Yeah.
you want the
No,
big?
no. I gotta drive home too. Farther than he does.
All right.
There you go.
Alright.
Okay.
These are pretty thick.
Yeah,
No, you have
spoons,
two there.
spoons will work.
There's two
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, there we go. Oh,
You take a spoon?
Felt like two to me.
yeah.
Nice, yeah, sure.
All right.
Would you like a spoon?
No, thanks.
Here, I'll take some more.
Sport.
So I wonder where the infusion is. Is it in the icing, do you think?
No, it's in the cake.
Good, I can eat the icing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah. Oh, it's really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Oh, she's a really good cook.
This looks fantastic.
You're gonna have some. No. Okay. The staff in the car will have to deal with this stuff.
Well, we found a couple of forks and spoons. Okay, I got more too. I'm gonna get into some of these ones.
Wow, that's really good.
It looks really good. Guys are eating their cakes already.
CannaMatch bought you that cake.
Nice.
Wow. This is really good.
It is.
It's really good.
I'm really, with weed, sometimes it's.
You don't even taste the
good.
weed. Hey,
Yeah,
no.
Right.
No, it's very light cake. Wow.
Sal,
Yes.
like a piece?
Sure.
What kind of piece you want? Want a great big piece?
Oh, just small pieces.
He just had a Shiner Rice Krispie from Mary, so.
Oh yeah.
Take a nap over there.
All right. Well, we got some of this stuff.
All right.
I'm gonna
So do you want me to carry out, help you carry out 4
let's
pieces?
all carry out some pieces there.
For the people in the
True.
van? Okay. Yeah, that was
People in the
really
crew,
good.
eh? Okay. Well,
Wow, that was really good.
people in the crew are gonna want a bigger piece. Yeah, that piece I gave you, Glenn, probably wouldn't satisfy anybody out there.
No. Oh, this one?
A little one, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Andrew. We'll give it to
Well, maybe Andrew. Yeah, that's right. Actually,
Andrew,
that's
Andrew
true.
would do it. Yeah, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's just.
Gotta give those kits away somehow, too.
Yeah. What should we do with that? Should we?
So get someone post something in the comments first.
What do you want them to comment?
I don't know.
We love Jerry?
Yeah, that works.
All right. First 3 people that say we love Jerry in the comments will get it. Something like that, right?
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
I'll send them a set each.
A set
A
each?
set each like that.
Okay.
All right.
I just need their address.
You can look back on the video
I
and
can
see
ship
So the
them.
first 3
Yeah.
people that,
Yeah.
that say I love
Or just
Jerry
you guys send me
and
a
will
picture
send
of
it their address.
Well, how do they contact this person?
We're just gonna send him the names and then he'll contact them.
Yeah, they have to.
You're
do
gonna
it.
do it?
No, Jerry is. Well, what we
I'll
do is
ship them. You
screenshot.
guys collect the names
Yeah, we can-
and the
yeah.
addresses.
All right.
All right.
We can screenshot it for you.
And I will ship them tomorrow.
There you go.
I'm gonna have
We
both.
love Jerry. There,
I'm
man.
gonna have both of
Somebody made. There you go.
Boom, that's 3.
That's three. All right. I know where Mike Powell lives.
Mike Powell, James Fowler, and Marie Anderson.
There you go.
Right on. Cool.
So Mike is in Dundas, Ontario.
Cool.
I can give you his address.
Yeah, Mike's my friend on Facebook.
Oh, there you go. So there you go. So Mike got one, and we got 2 more. Jason
Yeah.
and someone else. Good.
All right,
Mary
give me-
Anderson.
Mary Anderson.
Give me, if there's a couple of other ones, just give me their addresses too, and I'll send them something small.
Well, we'll do it
Send
again.
me the 3
Or
first ones.
can they just message you on Messenger also?
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
I
here.
just don't want to forget anything.
I'm gonna put I'll put your link in there right now, right? Because I can tag you in the comments, and then they can just send you their addresses that way.
So just send me the. Make sure you send me the 3 that get the big hits, and then I'll send some other stuff to the other ones.
We're almost ready to go. You want to take a piece of cake with you to hand over?
Yeah, I
this
can do that. Yeah.
thing? Here, take
Yeah.
this.
So let me get rid of some of the stuff in my pocket.
Oh, well, let me tag them.
What have I got going on?
Alright, my hands.
Okay.
That one.
Give me some more.
Okay.
I was a server 13 years, man. I haven't found me up here.
Okay.
You good?
I'm gonna give this one to Jen. And I think we're good. Glenn's got a couple.
Let's try now because
I should take your device. Just because.
It says medicine in it, so.
Jen, this one's for you because I thought you'd like it.
Oh,
And this one's for George.
that's for George. Okay.
This one's for George. So if we got too many in there, you can give them to somebody else. And we got more inside there quite a bit. So, welcome to the Healing Wave CSP van here. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
The 100th episode. How do you feel?
Hooray!
It's finally over.
What do you mean over?
Well, I said I was going to quit at 100 episodes, didn't I tell you?
No.
No, I didn't. I'm not going to do that. We're
You,
not
you
done
like
yet.
to talk too much.
We're
you
not
know,
done
you
yet. Well,
You
no,
would never
I'll be
stop?
happy
Come
when I
on.
can stop. That's for sure. But we're not
You
done.
enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I want to win this thing and then I can be quiet for a while. But yeah, persistence is the way you get it. So I'm going to keep flapping my gums until we get what we want. But yeah, I would like to win this thing and not have to keep fighting the good fight. That'd be good. But until that happens, we will be persistent and we'll continue to talk about it. And how was your day today?
It's been all right.
Yeah. We were busy this morning.
Yeah.
Let's go see Andrew at the back door because he's not busy right now. Get a shot of Jerry's vehicle here as well. See, we got the psychedelic seats in there. Hey Andrew, how come the door's open without me knocking first? Anyway,
It's because it's such a beautiful day.
It is a
You have to
beautiful
let
day.
the air in.
it almost stays open by itself, eh?
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
It's getting there.
So how's things with the CSP?
Not bad. I've done about 25 people today. They've come by and picked up the edibles.
Right? Any problems?
Yeah, we have very limited edibles, but we always work through that.
We got a nice donation from Dirty Dave of some caps today, so
Yes, we did,
At
right
the
here.
very least, we're gonna have caps for people, but we do have other things as well.
I have caps right here.
Yeah,
I have 50 milligram caps right here.
Very
THC.
nice.
Very nice.
beautiful.
I have
Those are full spectrum caps as well.
some cookies from Joe Pepper here.
Nice.
100 milligrams. I have some gummies here. 80 milligrams.
Gorilla Ganja.
Yeah, I have sativa, indica, half and half CBD and THC.
Some Green Wilderness gummies as well.
Then I have some right here, 50 milligram gummies right here.
All three of those talk about people that have really supported the CSP for a long time and
Very
been like
much so,
foundation of our ability to help
Yeah,
people.
Joe's been here from
All
like
three, Gorilla
way
Ganja,
back. She's been here from the
the
beginning.
Green Wilderness, and Joe Pepper have just been
Yeah.
fantastic for
They've
so
been
long.
great. I also have some more gummies. I have a whole bunch of gummies that we got donated that were in packages. I took them out of there
Nice.
and made them into their own package so people could share it out enough for everybody. Then I have more. I just take some, put them into a bag, and we don't need the whole box out here, right?
Right.
Right. So everything's we're doing pretty good out here.
We're doing all right.
What we have,
We could use more.
we could use a lot.
We don't
more.
have what we have had normally. We're low on cookies and brownies and things like that. But that'll improve, I'm sure. And
Oh yeah, I take every donation. And
we take every donation that we're offered.
Yeah. And it's
We
really-
test it all, of course, before we put it out to the
And-
public. But we're really
Mary
I wanna
that
talk
used
about
to
Mary.
donate edibles for the CSP.
well, she baked for us.
She did. She baked for us, and she was a great baker. She baked quite a few. She did 500 cookies in one weekend.
Yeah.
This just
We
came
miss Mary so much.
very much. She was a great baker for the CSP. She was a great person. She was a very nice person.
And she just sent you this package that you have there.
Yes, we have this package right here. We have some. I have some shatter.
Oh my goodness.
Some shatter
Rice Krispie
Rice
cake.
Krispies cakes, and I have some peanut butter cookies.
Beautiful. Don't eat them all today, Andrew.
And I have some cookies donated by Mary.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah, Mary was a head baker for us for a long time here in Vancouver. I had to go back east, and she's been operating the London East Coast. No, the East Coast is run by Chris Backer in Halifax. Mary's running the London, but there's another neighborhood name for it. I forget what it is. But she's in London, Ontario, doing the CSP there. I had a couple hundred people at the end there today. She sent me a video. Doing fantastic work, a huge lineup of people. The need is obviously great. And Chris Backer in Halifax as well has been doing a great job of helping people there for over 20 months now. Just amazing work by those folks. In Victoria, there was the first branch out of the CSP was the group Solid over there. Took what we were doing here and went with that, and they've been offering cannabis there as a substitute for opioids ever since. And now Jason Lafassi in Sudbury is doing some great work there as well in starting a cannabis substitution program there as well. And some other people around Canada are also doing similar things. And I think that there's a fair amount of people who understand the value in what we're doing that are probably doing what they can, helping out to their neighborhood or doing something in helping people use cannabis to get off as well.
We're helping down here besides us. We're helping down here.
Yeah, we're helping down here.
People that were already down here doing work down here trying to save these people. We're here to help taking the hard part and bringing it into here. Right? We're just one section of what people are doing down here.
Yeah, because we've branched out into a lot of different areas because of a lot of good people that have decided that they want to help as well.
Yeah.
So we're really thrilled about all of that. If anybody wants to start a cannabis substitution program, feel free to contact me. Contact me through the Cannabis Substitution Project page on Facebook, or Neil Magnuson on Facebook as well. And I'll happily tell you what I know about the experiences we've had and what works for us and how to keep this going and help people the way that we've been able to help people. And you've been, you've been with me since the beginning of the pot TV show THC, but you've also been right from almost the beginning of the whole program, over 4 years now.
Yeah, and I like it. I love it. I love being out here and helping people.
It's like one of those things that grabs onto your leg and you can't shake it off.
We love marijuana.
you
We
too.
love what we're doing.
We love you too, Andrew.
We wouldn't be
You're
here if we didn't like what we're doing.
yeah, and you've been such a nice guy in helping all these people.
Out here to prove that marijuana does work.
Well, it helped you originally too,
Sure
didn't
did.
it?
It helped me big time. And that's why I'm here.
Because you used to be on these streets
I
and
used to be
involved
on
in some of these
it's like
things.
a job out there. They have to run around every day and they have to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to get the drugs, and that takes all day. It's a lot of work. Don't do that work anymore.
Well, and it's hard to stop, and that's the real problem, is that the opioids and the other street drugs, it takes a lot to kick them. The withdrawal period of trying to get off those drugs is really difficult to get through, and that's the role that cannabis plays. In the case of high-dose edibles especially, which are much more potent than smoked cannabis. Smoked cannabis is a little more difficult. It does not provide the same level of relief. But with high-dose edibles, people can get through the withdrawal and then substitute the use of what they were using with cannabis. So,
We can slow them down from what they were doing before and bring them back a little bit.
well, we have hundreds of people here that have used our program to
We
get
have
off
so many
those
people
things.
that have done so great in the program, and I still coming.
And we see them again every day. They're thankful every
in all
day.
aspects of marijuana. It could be the cookies that are helping them, it could be the pills that are helping them,
Yeah.
it could be the gummies, but they're all working.
Yeah, there's many different aspects of cannabis that work for people in different ways, and it's really important to have all of those different things available. There needs to be caps for people that maybe say have diabetes and can't eat edibles that are wrapped in sugar. There needs to be topicals for people whose issues are more dealt with better dealt with through topical applications and those sorts of things. So we need to and suppositories and concentrates. And, people need everything because lots of people need different things.
Marijuana works on the body in different ways, in different areas of the body.
Yeah, and there's different preparations that are also
We have a variety of people that come here, so we've got to deal with all kinds of.
yeah. We need to be able to deal with all the different aspects that people
exactly.
need.
Marijuana's the way to go.
And we try as hard as we can, and the CSP part of it is done, primarily through donations. All of it through donations.
I love all people donate. They're doing a great
if it's
job.
not donations of edibles, it's sometimes donations of cash that we can then turn into edibles. And so
Turn that into, we can do that.
we try to have the variety of things that people need to help them. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's why we're here. We're not going anywhere.
thanks, Andrew.
Okay, thanks,
We'll
guys.
come
I
and see you
appreciate
inside
it.
in just a minute.
Cheers.
A beautiful day in Vancouver. Are you staying around for a while?
For a minute, yeah.
And because I'll see you somehow or later maybe.
Oh yeah, I'll be here for a few minutes.
All right. Let's go see what's going on inside.
Oh, dang. Okay, you need 4 out of there, okay?
Oh, home sweet home. We're into 10 and a half months. We just passed 10 and a half months since we moved from the store into the RV. So 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, we're in this
Look at that.
comfy little space trying to help people. It's a beautiful day today. The temperature is really nice. We have gone through some really hot days over the summertime here after going through some pretty cold days in the winter before that. It's been, like I say, we're halfway into our 10th month of being out here in the RV. What else did I want to mention? Sunset Beach on September 6th for the Canadian Cannabis Crusader Day, a day when we're going to talk about the people that helped to get us here, some of which we've lost over the last little while. And,
Message just came in. Rest in peace to Eddie Lepp.
yeah, Eddie Lepp passed away as well, an absolute warrior who was persistent for a very long time. I'm sure a thorn in the side of the prohibitionists, and what a great career that he had helping us, and so sad to lose so many people that we have just in this last little while here. So we're going to take a day and we're going to celebrate those people and celebrate the people that are still fighting the good fight that one day will pass, as we all will, because it seems inevitable that there's not much escaping old age and eventually death. And so let's do that on September 6th. That can be done anywhere, I'm sure. Cannabis Crusader Day can be an event wherever you are. Always a good time to think about the efforts that have been put forward by people. We're not in trenches with guns, but many people have lost their livelihood, many people have been incarcerated, many people have lost their families, and so much more. And it's been an ongoing, very grueling attack against millions of people worldwide just about their choice of herbs that they want to use. And so we want to honor all the people that have got us to where we are now and inspire a whole bunch more people to get on board and help us, because if we all pull together, we can do all kinds of different things. And this is one of those things that is at the very core of our pursuit for freedom in all aspects of our life. If they can prohibit your access to a safe, benign, extremely effective and beneficial herb with your money and the criminal law against you, then my goodness, we are far from free. That is such an outrageous example of not being free, and it's what's going on all around us all the time, as police right now in every jurisdiction across Canada have files open and investigations going and members being paid to snuff out anyone that might just grow some plants or help somebody get access to some cannabis. And that is an absolute abuse of our tax dollars, a criminal misuse of our tax dollars and our police resources. And it's one of the bigger stories going on because there's so much money involved, so many people's lives involved. It's been going on for so long, and it's just so bloody wrong, isn't it? So, yeah, hi gang.
Hi.
Hello.
So, did you all get cake?
Yes, we did. It was very nice. Thank
It's
you.
good cake. Thank you so much to the cake maker.
See, none of us got one of the little chocolates, though.
Well, that wasn't by design. There was only a total of 6 little chocolates.
Wow.
I think they're probably still all, not all, but most on the cake that we haven't handed out yet. So your chances of getting more are good.
That's all right.
And, you know, I cut them up pretty small except for your piece. You got a nice sized piece there. And George got a medium sized piece. Andrew, you just got a little piece.
So a
Is
small,
that Andrew's
large?
piece right there? Is that your piece there, Andrew?
Oh, he just wolfed his out
an
already.
extra.
That's an extra. All right.
He opened up his mouth and shoveled it
Hey,
in the plate clean.
put a spoon along with that and hand it out the window to somebody.
Yeah,
We,
why
we have
not?
we have spoons here, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Give it. Fraser's here.
Fraser got one already.
Oh, Fraser got one already. Okay, cool.
It was good
Forks,
cake.
by the
We
way.
make sure everybody's taken care of.
There you go.
All right.
Here's your spoon for the day.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. We had cake.
I need one more.
We still talked about the issues.
What?
I hope that you're all on board with understanding just how serious this situation is.
Yeah, I'll
That
get a spoon.
you know, we try to have as much fun as we can with things, and we try to enjoy as we go. Cannabis is a wonderful substance for that. It really helps lift things and make things a little lighter. But it's extremely serious that our governments are so able to implement such restrictions and such enforcement and harm people the way that they're harming people still. Lying about cannabis and giving us a fake legalization that is going to profit a bunch of unethical rich people and do a lot still to harm people, especially medical patients and people that are daily users and what have you, are all being left out of this so-called legalization. Legalization was not legalization. It was, well, we'll allow you to grow 4 plants, and that's the best part of the legalization, is you can grow for yourself some plants and be okay. And maybe you could eke out of 4 plants, especially if you do it right, although it's not all that easy growing plants.
Does that mean a homeless person can grow it outside?
No, homeless people have a lot of trouble growing plants. Lots of people are not allowed to grow plants where they are, especially this, you know, this evil cannabis plant. And so many people can't grow for themselves. So after that, the legality is that you can go and buy it from a government licensed store. But there, you're just going to pay the fine as if you were going to court. You know, you're going to be paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a pound of cannabis at these stores. So that's not legalization. That's not the end of our persistence to get what we deserve as human beings with respect to cannabis. But really, as I said, this strikes right at the heart, the very heart of what it is to be a free human being. And it is very serious, because if we can't stop it fairly quickly, if we can't get low barrier access alongside of this high barrier access, if poor people and sick people, people struggling with addiction, people facing barriers, can't easily access cannabis, and we don't get this done fairly quickly, then I believe that the whole system of legalization that now all these other jurisdictions are jumping on will take hold, will control the marketplace, and we'll have a hard time ever wrestling it back away from them, because that's just the way they want it to be. That is their business plan. And what that does is it continues on all of the harms and the evils of the prohibition of cannabis that we have been fighting against, that have hurt so many people for all of this time. Because this legalization that's being adopted jurisdiction by jurisdiction all over North America and other places keeps in place prohibitions on people outside the system. And that will always mean that there are people, unless of course they provide a much better product at a better price than than can be given by other people. If they really want to get the underground marketplace to not be a competition, then they have to out-competition that marketplace, not enforce it out of business. They have to out-compete it. They have to have lower prices for better weed that people trust and stores that people want to support. Then they can put a dent in the amount of people that would be supplying outside of that system, except that people should always be able to grow some plants and trade with their friends or make some money on the side with it if they want. It's been a huge basis of our economy for so long, where people can make a little bit of extra money on the side, and there's no reason that can't continue. It's an easy plant to grow. If people like the way that you grow it, and if they don't have easy access somewhere else, then you're doing them a favor. You're helping feed your family. That isn't something that our government should be interfering with in any great way. Certainly not using the criminal law against, because the criminal law should be saved for serious stuff, should be saved when people are actually doing significant damage to other people by intent, for profit. That's what is a crime. That is not a good thing to do, and they shouldn't be calling people that just want to help people get cannabis criminals. That is a terrible thing to do. So, I've rambled on again for the 100th time, and hopefully made my point. And we're hoping, you see, that if ever scrutiny happens on myself, that I can present any one of the 100 now episodes of the THC show, and that should be enough right there to justify the actions of the CSP and myself and of activism in general, and it should be enough to have people in positions of influence that are continuing the war on drugs and the war on cannabis. It should be enough to have them arrested. And so I think we've done it again. I think we've laid out a pretty good case for that, and I want to thank everybody that helped. And like, as I said before, 100 episodes was done because of the help of a whole lot of people who were willing to share, who were willing to come on the show and spend their time, who were willing to watch the show, and all of those things. And in fact, we have one more guest coming here before we sign off.
John, the Muffin Man.
John, the cupcake man. John Murray,
Muffin Man.
come to the come over here to the door.
Yeah, go over there. Sorry.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's coming to the. No,
He's coming that way.
Roll your head around.
Hey, John Murray, how are you, sir? Welcome back.
Hey, thank you.
Another traveler from afar.
Yes,
With
I got
the
a whole
cupcakes?
box of cupcakes for you.
And what are those potency?
About 100 milligrams.
100 milligrams. And we put those out for free all day, every day from
Yes, sir.
the Healing Wave van here.
And then I've got a bunch of pulled pork sandwiches for you.
Nice.
We're going to hand them out too.
Beautiful. That today?
That's right now.
Oh, fantastic.
All right.
Well, anything else you want to say on the 100th episode of the THC
Congratulations
show?
on your 100th episode.
Thank
Well
you, sir.
deserved.
Thank you, sir.
And God love you, brother.
All right. Very
Keep
good.
up the good march.
Thanks, John. Talking about people who have been foundations of making this whole thing work. There are a number of them. As you've seen, there's a bunch of the donations in our thing that are from people that have been donating for the whole length of the program pretty much. All of these fine folks right here, George, Andrew, and Jen. You know, Andrew's the only one that wasn't there right from the beginning because he came along just a couple of months in. You weren't there right from the beginning. You were in the lineup.
I was there before Jan.
Not right from the beginning. Within the first month, though, or so.
I was there.
First few months.
Yeah, I was there. I was there before Jan.
Okay. So maybe only George.
I was the last one to come along.
No, but you've been with me since before that, rolling for 420
Yeah, I was
and
rolling for
stuff.
joints for 420 and everything,
But actually coming to Van Du, you were the last
picked
of
him out of
these.
the line.
I was the last of the three.
It's all they've all been here over 4 years. I just can't seem to get rid of them, and I wouldn't want to either because they really make the whole thing work. And I'm so happy to have them. It wouldn't work without these three particular individuals. There may be other individuals out there that could also do what they're doing, but they're few and far between. And I've really been blessed by the universe with attracting very special people in these three here and in the special donators who have just been absolute angels. And these large contributions, along with the huge volume of small contributions, have allowed us to sustain the CSP for over 4.5 years to the point where I still think we are poised to be getting legitimacy, some sort of piece of paper with a signature on it that licenses us to be able to provide the service that we've been providing for all this time. And hopefully in some manner that is very close to the way that we're doing it, and not confined to the ridiculous regulations that are involved in the government stores that put up all kinds of barriers, involve all kinds of costs that have to be added onto the product and passed on to the consumer. Hopefully we won't be taxed, because what we need is to not have any more cost added to what we're putting out into the public here. The whole idea of low barrier is to take away these unnecessary barriers that are the only reason that cannabis isn't easily available at really reasonable cost to people, from free to low cost. So thanks to everybody who's helped along the way. There's other pot TV shows on that you can check out, with Carly Marley, BC Bud Gal doing their show on Mondays. The 420 Lifestyle Show kicks in around 4 o'clock, or 4:20, no, 4 o'clock, right? And BC Bud Gal again comes on Thursdays with the Morning Glory around 10 a.m. because it's a wake and bake show. And then Johnny B with the most important show where he teaches you how to grow, because I really believe that everybody should take that step. Go and get a clone, go and get some seeds, do what you can to start being part of the movement to overgrow the government. And it's very beneficial in a number of different ways to do that. And if we all did that, then I think that there'd be just enough cannabis in the environment, and so little people that would actually go and pay prices that are artificially inflated for government weed, that we'd be able to have low barrier access, and they would take away these crazy regulations. And one of these days, maybe, just maybe, the cannabis culture of the people that have consumed cannabis and had a relationship with the plant for all of this time, the people who have put their liberty and their possessions on the line to be able to help people get access to cannabis, all of the people that have been involved in the struggle for the right to use cannabis deserve an apology. And maybe one of these days we'll get that. Maybe as we move it forward here in Canada into a snap 2-year election, or federal election 2 years into the mandate, that we can use this opportunity to contact those people that are running for government, those parties that would like to be in power, and ask them what they're doing to try to help people get easy access to cannabis. Ask them what they would do in allowing cannabis to be easily accessed for people struggling with addiction to hard drugs and opioids. Ask them if they would apologize to the cannabis community for the decades of harm that's been done to all of us, including the people that aren't even involved in cannabis, because it's their tax dollars that have been used too. And in many cases, it's their family members or their workplace or, other areas of their life that has been indirectly disrupted and harmed because of this immoral, unjustified attack on what is nature's best gift to us in the form of a plant that feeds us, clothes us, provides us with fuel, medicine, and a peaceful way of life and spiritual guidance. So I don't know if I can say any more. Every time we're just trying to say it in such a way that'll resonate in a way that'll get the change to happen. I mean, how much more can you say? The most beneficial substance on the planet that is the least potentially harmful is something that they're spending our money on in huge amounts and harming people in severe ways to try to prohibit, to protect the financial interests of greedy people who don't have any ethics. I don't know what could be worse. I don't know how to state it any better, but we're going to keep trying week after week until we state it properly and our words become magic and cast the necessary spells and get enough people on board with us that we change this world for the better through love and through the freeing of cannabis. So thank you all for being part of the show for all this time, for watching today, and for whatever you're going to do in the future to help to make this world a better place. While you do that, as always, the most important thing, have as much fun as you can.